Hi, and welcome back to Excel 2007 step by step. We are on customizing the interface. This is going to be starting on, let's see here, page 26 in your books. I went ahead and just opened up exception summary, just a random Excel document that came with the CD. Feel free to do so. We're going to go over a few things here: how to zoom, how to open multiple windows, work with the same worksheet in multiple windows, add quick buttons, and we'll just briefly jump down the key points that the chapter closes up with. So I've opened this guy up here, and we can see this pretty well. But there's a lot of white space, kind of silly. We're not working with it. We don't need it. So what can we do? Well, first off, there's a slider right here. We can zoom in, make the screen more relevant to our work. Suppose we needed to see more of the screen, we could zoom back out. The book makes a point to say you can only zoom to 10%, but that is just pointless. The second thing we can do is highlight an area, click on the 100, and come down to where it says Fit Selection. Now we could pick a percentage, or we could have just done it on the slider. But Fit Selection is great because it automatically sets you up to the best possible view for the data you're working with. And to undo it, just use the slider again. So the zoom tool here, very, very useful, very powerful, really helps present the data that you only need to see, gets that rest of that confusing information out. For this particular example, I went and I took all this and wrote it so that it automatically updates here. Notice it says 153. If I make a change right here, 157. So it automatically cascades and updates. Keep that in mind. That's something we're going to work with in just a second. So I wanted to open up another document here, and I'm going to open up, say, Exceptions 2006. And we've seen this before, where we have one worksheet here and one worksheet here. But suppose you needed to compare them side by side. This is a really useful feature when you're pulling over large amounts of data. So how do you do that? Well, we come up here. We know we're not inserting anything, maybe a layout, but in this case it's actually going to be a view. And we can open up new windows from here, arrange them, and freezing we're actually going to cover. That's a really useful tool. I'm going to click Arrange All and tile it. So now we notice they're two are side by side. Really great. We can go in here, horizontal, again very useful, cascade with one behind the other. This is actually a legacy feature from some very early versions of Excel called Multiple Document Interface. I'm going to close out exceptions. As you can see, I went ahead and opened up this guy. You notice it's the exact same document. I've opened one document next to the other. So if I type 1, 2, 3 again, well, there it is. It appeared on both screens. Why would you want to do this? Well, let's go back. Remember my second page automatically tallied up? Well, now we can go in here, make the changes, and not have to flip back and forth between these sides because we'll have it right over here to look at whenever we need it. And of course, what happens when you zoom? Whatever one is selected is the one that zooms. So we could zoom in on this and make our changes here. The final thing I really want to touch on before we do our quick little review is how to add stuff to this guy right here. This is a quick launch bar. We can right click on any space that doesn't glow, customize quick access toolbar, and we can pick things. I might want to add email to it and hit OK, and there's email. The problem with this is it can get pretty cluttered pretty quick. You really don't want to put too much up here. Keep it nice and simple. Customize quick access, and you can pick anything. There's paste, save, we already have in there, sorting, tabling, spell check. Spell check is good, you need that. We don't really need email for this example. That's great, so we'll keep the spell check up there. The other thing you could do is you could say, hey, I love this arrange all option, Daniel, you just showed me. How do I get that up there? I didn't see that in the list. Well, it might have been in the list, it might not have. But you can right click on arrange all and add quick access, and there it is. So we're going to go down to the key points that close the chapter up now. They want me to remind you, save. How often do you save? Well, my recommendation, save whenever you would be angry that you just lost something. So anytime you make a change, you stop to think, it's not a bad idea to get in the habit of doing that. I just saved that quick. Set the properties. Don't let things stay this sheet 1. This is bad. This is something Microsoft shouldn't have done. Let's rename that to exceptions. Exceptions. And that is good form. Set color coordination on there. You don't want to leave everything so bland. This really helps you just flip over to the orange sheet and sticks in people's mind. Color coordination really helps people mentally go through things and be as descriptive as possible, but also make sure that these represent your workflow. Don't just make sheets that have no purpose. Each one should represent a particular flow of work or thought or what you're doing. Remember copying and pasting? You right click on there to bring this up, or we could always have gone up here and did it from this screen if you remember that. Don't go retyping the same things. You can copy and paste in between workbooks. Remember to zoom, help yourself out. And don't leave any of these boring sheet 4 workbooks going on. It's this can cause problems in the long run if you're dealing with like sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 and they're blank and have nothing in there. You don't want somebody to go in there and think there was a purpose. They're missing some important piece of data. So this is going to close up chapter 3. I really hope you learned something here. I really hope you've picked up a few things from me. I know that I'm having a little bit of fun just going through these lectures. Good little crash course in Excel for me. Been a while since I went down and actually explained these to anybody. So I'm going to close up and I'll see you back for chapter 3.